Clerk will read the next resolution.
House Concurrent Resolution 211, in memoriam, former State Representative Paul Hanneman, 1936 to 2017.
Question now arises upon third reading and final consideration of HCR 211. Representative Gomberg.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good morning, colleagues. I rise today with a resolution honoring the life and the many, many accomplishments of Paul Hanneman, a resolution which has been co-sponsored by all of the members of our Coastal Caucus. Colleagues, along the sides of our desks are a series of small brass plaques that serve as silent testimony and evidence to the fact that giants have walked here on this floor. Giants and heroes. As Tom McCall once said, that heroes are everyday, ordinary people who say it's my community and my responsibility to make a difference. And I remember last May, when the news of Paul Hanneman's passing was announced on this floor, that a shudder went through the room. And I rose at that time to say that some of you may not know the name, but you certainly know his face, because just inside the door of our House dining room is a photograph of three of our most senior members, Denny Jones, Bill Markham, and Paul Hanneman, each of whom served here a long, long time. So Paul Hanneman, as you've heard in the introduction to this resolution, was born in 1936, and his family brought him to Pacific City in Tillamook County in 1945. He was a fisherman, although that's not the whole story. I mean, fishermen do hard and dangerous work, but most of them go to work from the safety of a pier or a dock and out through the comforting jaws of some of our giant jetties. Dorymen take their small craft down to the beach and launch into the waves, and they punch through the surf to get to open waters. And at the end of the day, they come back in through that same surf and power right up onto the beach. Dorymen are a special breed, as was Paul Hanneman, and of course our iconic dory fleet is based in Pacific City. So in 1965, Paul Hanneman decided to take his experience with sneaker waves and with riptides and use that here in the Oregon legislature. He served for 26 years. 26 years. One can only imagine how many votes he cast and how many issues he dealt with during that generation of time. And oh, what a time it was. I mean, we're talking about the time of the Oregon Beach Bill, an iconic piece of legislation that determined that Oregon beaches belong to the people and the future generations of Oregon. We're talking about what was called the Oregon Beverage Act, which we know as the Bottle Bill, which was the first of its kind in this nation to deal with recycling and litter in a unique way that is now the standard across the entire country. We're talking about the Salmon and Trout Recovery Act. We're talking about the Forest Products Act. We're talking about Oregon's system of statewide comprehensive planning to make sure that the Oregon we know now will be the same Oregon generations from now. And I'm here to assure you that Paul Hanneman's fingerprints were on each and every one of those bills. And he may not have gotten the lion's share of credit for some of those iconic and famous measures, but he certainly made the difference between having them and not having them. And if you're ever interested, I would encourage you to pick up the book that he published in 2016 called The Inside Story of Oregon's Beach and Bottle Bills, for an illuminating outline of those two particular pieces of legislation, which I believe that he is rightfully the father of. A time, colleagues, that defined the Oregon legacy, defined the Oregon history, defined the Oregon story. Let me, after Paul Hanneman retired, he went back to Tillamook County, the land of trees, cheese, and summer breeze, but his contributions were not complete, and he actually served as a county commissioner for another 4 years before retiring a second time. And my understanding is that he actually served on more than 40 task forces, commissions, and committees during his long career. Now, as a personal note, I will tell you that I first came to this chamber fresh out of graduate school in 1981 as a legislative assistant. It was midway through Paul Hanneman's career in the Capitol, and like many young people working in the Capitol, I was in awe of this man. And 30 years later, when it was my privilege to become his representative, I was able to renew my acquaintance with him. He's a Republican, I'm a Democrat. I'm sure we didn't agree on everything, but I take great comfort in the belief that we agreed on much, much more than that which we disagreed on. That's part of the Oregon story as well. And he always greeted me with a warm smile and a firm handshake. Colleagues, Paul Hanneman loved Oregon, as we all do. And he worked hard to make Oregon a better place, something that we can each only hope and strive to do as well. I'm very pleased to present this memorial today, Madam Speaker, and I urge everybody to adopt it.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion? Seeing none, Representative, would you like to close?
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. A couple of additional notes, if I may. Representative Hanneman served in the desk that's now occupied by Representative Hayden. Representative, maybe you could wave your arms so the people in the gallery can see where you are. We've placed a couple of fishing floats on the desk as a memorial today. You don't get to keep them, Representative. And colleagues, you all know that while we who are elected get the lion's share of the credit and the glory, that it is our family that carries the burden with us and are a beacon of light on particularly dark days. So I'd like to introduce Representative Hanneman's family that is with us here today, including his wife, Sandra, if you could stand up, please, as well as other members of the family, Craig, Paul, and Jessica, all Hannemans. We also have with us family members Carlene and Lon Austin, Julie and Dave Pettit, Bill and Addie Hess, Margaret and Claude Hampton, Monty Hampton, and Joe Spate, family members that are with us today. We also have, Madam Speaker, a number of Dorymen with us here today, including Ray Monroe, Rob Royster, Tom Donahue, Craig Werrick, and Dave Larkins, and a number of other people that have come here to celebrate the remarkable contributions of Paul Hanneman. I'd ask all of you if you could stand up, please. I came over from the coast today like most of you did. I know that in the passes of the Oregon Range, the temperature dropped to 22 degrees. So I thank all of you for making the trip over here and to make this remarkable statement. I just wonder who's left in Tillamook County today. So again, Madam Speaker, remarkable contributions by a remarkable man. I'm very, very pleased to bring forward a resolution which concludes that we, the members of the 79th Legislative Assembly, honor the life and accomplishments of Paul Hanneman and express our gratitude for his contributions to the people of this state, and be it further resolved that we will provide a copy of this resolution to his family so that they can remember this particular day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Those of the opinion that HCR 11 should be adopted will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Clerk will open the voting system. We are so incredibly pleased to have so many folks from Tillamook County here today. To Sandra Hanneman, it's really great to have you here. To all the friends, the Dorymen, and everyone who has befriended the legislature through Paul's work. I just want to say that it's good for us to remember who came before us. Thank you for being here to recognize his service. And on behalf of the Oregon House, HCR 211, having received the constitutional majority, is declared adopted.